Yo, JD here, Limitless, and we are back once again on F1 2021 as always. And we are back with some more online lobbies, some more 5-lap races, and honestly, I've been absolutely loving these. So if you want to join this on Xbox, please follow me on the Instagram, because I always notify when I go live. And I do these pretty much every day. So we're at Brazil here. First time I've ever driven Brazil on F1 2021. So we try and get a good start as the lights go out, and we get a very good start. And so, I said it before, I've been getting really good launches of this game as we're trying to avoid this AlphaTauri, just about navigating through the carnage, and managed to get through relatively scot-free going through there. So we're into P11, and now we're behind EOR Hamilton, who I presume is someone who races in leagues and is a semi-competitive player, because I always assume that when someone has a 3 abbreviations at the start of their name. But we're coming through to here, and Brazil, I've been told, is a very fast track, how it feels compared to 2020 on this. And so far, it actually feels amazing. It felt so nice to drive this track, way with the car's handle. And I'm currently using my France TT setup. If I'm going to a relatively high downforce track and I don't have it yet, as we are just avoiding this car, as we're doing a little bit of a rallycross here. I lost all grip from the car there, so I didn't know how I spun, as Charles Leclerc has joined the lobby. So that's pretty interesting. As we're now coming up behind Limitless and going into turn 1. He goes defensive in the Aston Martin, so go around the outside. Let's see if we can outbrake him. Yes, we can outbrake him. Round the outside, not even a hint of a lockup. And that was a very nice move, as this guy, the Mercedes, has gone all out of shape here. So we'll go have a drag race to the end of this Sector 1, using all of the overtake button. Who brakes later again? We brake later once again. I feel very good on the brakes on this game. I think you've seen it from recent videos. I just feel so confident in my inputs, and it is definitely paying off at the moment. So we're now up into P6 in this race. I'm not even sure where I actually started, but it must have been relatively close to the back, because I was about P13 coming out of turn 1. So trying to get a good launch off this corner. This left-hander is still flat. The good thing is you cannot run on the grass there anymore, which is so good, as the McLaren gets out of shape, which means I have to go a little bit on the brakes. But yeah, it's really good that you're not using the grass to go into that corner anymore. At least that's what I've been told. I need to try it a little bit more properly myself. But we're up into P5 now, behind the Williams of this guy up ahead, who's quite a quick driver. Raced him in a few of them. So we get our first track limit warning, but we've got the DRS, so I'm trying to save my ERS for the last lap to try and set the fastest lap that I can possibly do, because you always want to get it for bragging rights. If you can't win the race, then I always try and set the fastest lap at the very least if I can. But driving through these corners, it just feels amazing. This track, it's a track that I've quite weirdly always struggled at and never normally enjoyed that much, but it actually feels really nice on this game so far. So please let me know what your favorite track is. I'm going to be attempting Sochi tomorrow for the Hot Lap and Serp series, so that should be very interesting. But coming off the exit of this corner here, trying to get a good launch. I'm trying to avoid using my ERS as much as possible, because I want to save it for this last lap. But it looks like the car ahead and behind have a little bit of a different story. EXR MSBN, as the guy ahead actually sets the fast lap race of 106.9 here. So we're going to try and get a really good launch off this corner to try and avoid using the ERS. So we do get the DRS, but the guy behind decides he wants to go for the overtake. So we're going to try and outbrake him. This time he outbrakes me, doesn't really leave me much room. So I'm just going to cheekily stay ahead there, because I felt, yeah, I don't know what would that be like in real life, but it's a 5-lap lobby. I'm going to try and do everything I can to stay ahead of someone else. We've got these two guys going up ahead in the Alpine here. DJ Perks, I think if I can say that right, going side by side, loses out to the Williams driver. Now we're coming to the last lap of this race, and we don't have as much ERS as I would have liked, because I want to try and save it. But honestly, I was just really enjoying driving around Brazil. This is the first time for me. I haven't touched it in TT or in any races before this point, so it just felt really, really nice. And as I said, currently using my France setup in this video, and it just feels really, really good going around here. So taking a nice wide line, late apex, try and get a good exit coming off here, and we get a very good exit. I think his red light is about to flash, which it does on cue here. So we're going to go for this overtake, but he's very smart in the defending. Going to the middle of the track doesn't really leave you any options, but again, he gets a poor exit. His red light is still flashing, so we can afford to wait for the last straight. He goes in a little bit deep, he's just going to slide down the inside, up through into it with just a more downforce, a pure downforce that we had there. We get that move done, and that was a very, very satisfying overtake to do there. But coming into the last sector now, unless a meteorite hits these 3 drivers in front, then we're probably going to be settling for P4 at best here. We're going to try and get the fastest lap, but we didn't get in the DRS zone of this guy up ahead. Although we are still gaining on our delta because we are using the overtake button. But I think from where we started, I think it was P15 in the end to P4. Not a bad effort, and yeah, Brazil, that definitely gets a thumbs up for me in terms of enjoyment. So that was the first race, a very, very nice one. Some nice clean overtakes, some good battling, and now we are going to move on to Silverstone. So this is a random grid once again here, and if you look to my right in the Haas, you can't quite see it yet, but I think that might be Mr. Charles Leclerc. You decide if it's the real one or the fake one. I have raced the real one. I've actually done a video on that in the past, but we've got 5 lights here. And as the lights go out now, trying to get a good start here, moving over to Leclerc on the right-hand side here. Now, let's see, where do you want to be? You kind of want to be on the outside for this turn 1 because it's absolute carnage. Going through to here, and as usual, this is a typical Silverstone turn 1 and 2. Going through it here, Mercedes just absolutely loses it as we're behind the Ferrari. Coming off the exit here, he does his best Ferrari impression by just giving a complete 360. I don't know what happened to him there, but now we're up into P9, and so far, so good. And as I said, it always seems to be Silverstone, doesn't it? All the time. This is a very popular track choice that people want to drive at, and it usually delivers some of the best races. But we're behind this guy, Mr. Black. He's having a little bit of a fit in that car there. But coming into here, yeah, he tried to do something not so nice and tried to take me out. And we get an illegal overtake for that. But I feel this is replay worthy. We saw this at the very last minute. You can see we just turned out of it just then. Could have been so much worse than that. So Jedi-like reactions for that there. And he didn't get his what he wanted to do there, so it could have been a lot worse. Got an illegal overtake, which means we are going to have a 3-second time penalty added on there, and now we're behind Charles Leclerc once again. So coming towards the end of the hangar straight here, we've got a lot of making up to do. Let's see where we can finish in this race from here. So he goes a little bit defensive going into there. Decided to sign for Haas just for this race and trying to get a good exit. It's Death Chicken. That's the fastest up. It's actually quite a fast driver as well. So we're going to go down the inside of Leclerc there. Caught him a little bit napping. Going to turn 1. Just a little bit of a lift just to make sure we don't spin out here. And got to be careful because a little bit unpredictable with these cars here. So I didn't know what the Aston Martin was going to do. So we're thinking about that the inside there. But Leclerc goes round the outside, so he catches me napping right back. So some good battling from him there. Now we're going to just let these guys arrange themselves. Going to decide to almost make it 3 wide. It is 3 wide going to there, and that is always going to end in tears here. So we're going to try to do the same to Leclerc. Try and get that ESR. Try and get some good traction coming off here. And with the Silverstone setup, it feels very, very good around this track. And he decides to back out of it and intentionally just lets us have the corner. So coming through here, I think that's one of the hardest corners now on the F1 2021 game. Going through into Maggots and Beckett's. All about trying to get a good exit. So stay as far left as you can. Try and get a good launch of this corner. Don't think we're going to be that much of a threat from Leclerc behind. So we turn off our overtake nice and early. As these guys are thinking about making a move going down into here. But decided to think for a better day. going into chicane. Leclerc's thinking about going down the inside once again, as he's just been caught by the Red Bull. Unfortunately, up ahead of us, Just Chicken sets the fastest lap of the race here. And now let's see how much progress we can make. I think Leclerc, I don't know where he's gone. He has just completely disappeared now. But we're just going to try and aim to finish as high up as we can now. Coming up behind HL347, who is a regular in my lobby. So again, if you want to join these, then follow me on Instagram. Usually do it every weekday at about midday. So if you want to join, make sure you follow me there. Go around the outside and leaving just enough room, and we get that move done. So a very nice move once again. Up behind EOR Hamilton as we were in Brazil. So going to use a little bit of the overtake. Let's see if we can get in the DRS zone for Maggots and Beckett's, because that will help us out very nicely. And you can see by the delta we're gaining quite a lot of time through there, so don't have to use any overtake going up into this section. And the change of direction, you can see again we're just gaining so much time going through, about almost 2 tenths going through there. And we're just going to hold station on this battery power because we want to try again set the fastest lap for the end of the race, because we do have a 3-second time penalty and it's going to be very, very hard to try and win in 2 laps time. So but we will still do our best. You never know what can happen up ahead of you, as well as we now got Felix up ahead of us in the Alpine as we set the fastest lap of a 26.3, so that's not too bad at all, as the guy behind actually has a 4-second time penalty. So if I can clear Snipes in P7 by 3 seconds, then at least we could maybe finish in a top 5. So using a little bit of the overtake here, but decided to think a bit better of it because it's unlikely we are going to overtake him when he has the DRS going into sector 1. But you could just see with the setup and the confidence and the commitment of how much more downforce we have. We're thinking about going down the inside there, but not quite close enough. Now going up through here, using a little bit of the overtake once again. And let's see how much time we can gain coming through into here. So a little bit of the dirty air. He actually runs out wide, and I think he's got a penalty as a result of doing that. So now going from Max Beckers, he messes up his line, so he's all over the place here. So we should get a pretty good exit. You could just see with the downforce how much of a better run we have. But I know he's probably going to use a lot of his overtake here, so I'm going to have to use some of mine as there's another move going on up ahead of us. But we get this move done pretty nicely, and coming into the final lap we are going to have about 60% or more ERS, so a good amount of ERS, and really all you need to use for a final lap of the race. So going to use it once again. We're going to try and get this guy before the sector 1 split, because we should be close enough to still get the DRS from EOR Hamilton here. So we're going to commit down the inside here. He leaves me just about enough room, so fair play to him there. And we're going to be more than close enough to the DRS detection point. So we're going to use the overtake here again, because you just want to be as close as you possibly can to these cars. And you can see we have gained quite a bit of time going down this straight. So the leader, Death Chicken, is just up the road, but unless something catastrophic happens to him, I think he's probably going to be the winner of this race. But we can still get P2 on track here, so purely for pride, let's see what we can do. So going through into here, Old Tel 1, he gets all out of shape completely. Do I stay behind or do I go past? And I decide to go past. He decides to let me have this corner, so I just carry all that momentum going through to make sure I nail this corner, which we actually miss the apex ever so slightly, and he isn't going to be anywhere near close enough. And we are half a second up on this time as well, so this lap is actually a pretty fast lap despite having a couple of mistakes in that sector 1 and going through there as well. But we're going to do everything we can, try and get as close as we can to Death Chicken as he's going to cross the line. He's going to be the winner. We did recover to P2 in the end, on track at 25.7, not having the DRS either, and we end up coming P3, just pipping that Felix. And I have to say, I've absolutely loved racing on this game. The 5-lap races I've done have been so good. Stay tuned for more future content. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. Hope you're enjoying the game, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.